everybody, it's Dana, and I'm going to talk to you a little bit more about ChiDog today and the five element theory, um, and using their food to help you with some of the reasons we would choose to feed a diet that's customized based on those five element theories. So I'm going to move over my screen so you guys can see that. They actually sent me some of these foods to, well, what is wrong with my computer now? A version of visualness, but not the actual screen I'm looking at. Thank you, Facebook. I'm hoping you guys can see my screen and see the food. They actually sent me samples of each of these types of food, and I'm just going to read from their descriptions a little more information about each of these diets. But I wanted you to see what the food looks like. It is a complete and balanced diet that was designed by a veterinarian who is trained and studies Chinese medicine, and her goal is to really help feed dogs these specific custom diets. I'm going to be honest with you. I was a little surprised at some of the ingredients like peas and brown rice. Those are ingredients that I typically will not include in the custom diets that we're trying to do for a variety of reasons. But I will tell you that even though those ingredients are in there, their carb count comes in under I think 15%, right? So you're seeing some inclusion of these starchier foods, but we are still keeping the carb count low. It is a mistake I see frequently in dog mamas who are making homemade dog food, that the ratios are really out of whack, and that the protein is often less than the amount of carbohydrates and vegetables that are in the bowl. So you can see here that this is pretty protein heavy. So that's actually a good thing. So let's look at what they say about the fire diet. It contains turkey, which is a cooling protein, and millet, an easily digestible grain source. So I'm not terribly opposed to the millet. It's something that we find in the Volhard NDF2 diet and is sometimes added to some of the custom recipes that we do. So fire diet is said to be cooling, that benefits a yin deficiency. I'll teach you more about that as we go. And strengthens the qi, Q-I, qi. And you can read a blog on my website that describes what qi is, but basically it's our energy source, our energy field, and how our body is using that energy. This diet supports conditions of inflammation such as pancreatitis, atopy, Cushing's disease, and some conditions including anxiety. I would also add that when I have a behavior case that includes arousal, like over-adrenalized dogs, aggression, I move to these cooling diets. My allergy dogs tend to move to a cooling diet as well. So again, complete and balanced, all the things that you need to fall into that category of cooling a dog that is said to be of the Constitution fire, of that five element theory fire. So we're helping to cool them down. Let's see what else we got here. Next up, nope, that's the same. Oh, here we go. Sorry. Next up, we have the wood diet. This is a dog that's pretty much in balance, right? They're pretty stable. And so if we think about that chart of the five element theories and how they all work together, wood is the fuel for fire. So if we've got too much dry wood, right, we're not keeping things dry and moist or whatever, that fire is going to burn extra hot, right? So this is how we start to create some imbalances. And by the same token, if the wood dog is too wet, too moist, then the fire's not going to burn hot enough. So our goal is balance and harmony, right? So we bring in a fire diet when other elements are causing the balance to be off and to create a lot of heat in the body. And so sometimes, depending on where these things work, we have to work on other elements. So the wood diet, this one is made of chicken eggs, and brown rice. Now, chicken, by design, is a hot protein, according to Chinese medicine. So the wood diet is said to be an overall qi tonic for the body. It aids in liver issues, seizures, ligament disease, trembling dogs, geriatrics, dogs with poor appetite, and dogs that may have cracked pads. So again, think about that dryness, right? Think about dryness and where you see dryness in your dog. And maybe we need to bring some moisture back into the diet without going into the water diet just yet. So we'll talk about that one in a second. Let me close this. Next up, we have the metal diet. Come on, there we go. Bring it on up. There we go. Metal. So metal is typically the season of fall. Is that right? My brain. So we go wood, fire, earth, metal, and then water, which is our winter months. So yeah, we're in fall for the metal diet. So this diet is beef and potato, beef being a neutral protein. And this one shows pretty well that you can see the little bits of potato that are in here. You can see some leafy greens, obviously some carrots are built into this diet. And metal is neutral. It improves blood deficiencies. Now, this does not mean your dog doesn't have enough blood. It just means what's being moved through the body is energetically deficient. This diet supports conditions of dryness such as chronic cough, constipation, dry skin, and diabetes. So you may be wondering now, because I've got a client, for example, that has both pancreatitis and diabetes. So what do we feed this dog? It would take a little bit more customization, in my opinion, or maybe some rotation of these two options to sort of bring that dog back to balance. So metal diet, this one's beef and potato, and it is for our fall sources. All right, what we got next? The water diet. So this diet is made of pork and barley. The water diet is neutral to cooling, benefiting kidney qi and yi deficiency. I can't even talk. Deficiency. This diet supports kidneys, arthritis, urinary incompetence, and hind leg weakness. Yes, I read that right. Urinary incompetence and hind leg weakness. The water diet is also hypoallergenic for most dogs. Okay, so this is a great option. Again, pork, which is in that cooling category, and barley, again, a very easily digestible grain. So not all grains are bad. I even have content on my blog that talks about that. The Volhard diet is not grain free, but there are a lot of dogs, a lot of dogs that need to have no grains in their diet. They're not a requirement for your dog, and some dogs simply do not tolerate them well. You can see again peas here, peas and carrots. Um, Again, I am not a huge fan of peas, but what you see, this is a 3-ounce bowl, right? This was a sample size. So this is about the amount Huey would eat on a daily basis or a meal basis. You can see that there are not a lot of peas. And what I often find in recipes with that are people that are trying to do it themselves, this bowl would be probably more than half veggie, and you can see that these are not, right? That's an important distinction for you to start to understand when you're making homemade food. And then finally, I am missing the earth diet. I'll find a picture of that. I don't know where it got to. Maybe I just didn't copy it over. So the earth diet is egg, and tofu. Tofu's not terrible for dogs. A lot of people think, oh my God, it's soy. So we're going to talk about that a little more. I'm actually going to add a blog post to the website that talks about why soy may be okay. But it tends to not be something that I use in our customizations, right? We do have some families that want like vegetarian diets, or some even are on vegan diets. Not what I think is appropriate for your dog in any way, but in that regard, tofu could be an option to make sure we're getting healthier proteins and keeping that balanced if we're not looking into the category of actual meats. So the earth diet is neutral to cooling, benefiting conditions to express damp. Again, that's a Chinese medicine term where we say the body is holding on to dampness, which are things like phlegm and then stagnation somewhere in the body. So this diet improves obesity, suppresses lipoma formation. So that's an example of where you can consider dampness. What has happened when you look at a lipoma? They are the body's way of storing it sort of out of the way the things that the liver can't process, and that becomes a stagnation in the body. So how do we clear those things? And getting into the diet, you often hear me talk about liver detox and liver support. Super important things to do for all of these dogs. But this diet can be a place to start doing that. So those lipomas, and then this is also a good option for our cancer dogs if we are wanting to feed within the ChiDog model, right? So this is a delivery service. These foods come to you prepackaged. Generally speaking, with these types of services, when you order a large enough quantity, they will have like free shipping or auto ship discounts and things of that nature. And then that tends to require you needing some storage in the freezer, so just be aware of those things as you're doing this. But these are very complete and balanced diets designed by a holistic veterinarian who specializes in Chinese medicine. And so I fed each one of these to both of my dogs, and neither one of them turned up or knows anything. My dogs don't currently have a lot of conditions. Huey has a couple of them, but he's 19 years old, so we're going to keep working on those things. But yeah, it's certainly a brand that I think is worth the investment in your dog's wellness, and that this makes it super convenient to feed those foods that are customized for the 5-element theory that we often talk about, to bring your dog back to balance, whether that is a physical out of balance type thing, that shows up in the symptoms like we're seeing here, like the lipomas or cancers or Cushing's disease or whatever it may be, right? Those are imbalances, but we also have emotional imbalances, anxiety, aggression, arousal. So those are when you tend to hear me guiding you in consultations to specific categories of feeding and to omit certain meats and to omit certain vegetables. It's because we're trying to get into these 5-element theory way of feeding. So if you have questions, let me know. There is some information out on my website about 5-element theory and in the private client forum that everybody is going to be asked to participate in. You'll be invited. It will be a subscription forum. It's no cost to active clients, and then others can start to get in there very soon. I hope to have that announcement coming out. I've been saying that now for maybe a couple months, and we're hoping to get that ready to go. There's content populated in it every single day almost, and lots more content to come as I work through my old notebooks and things that I have documented over the years, and then of course as we learn new things. So look into ChiDog. I'll add a link to this post below, and if you have any questions, let me know.